I'm talking with this dude that's like a known Republican, and he's not part of an administration right now, and he's not in office, okay? But he's a known Republican, and he's connected, and I ask him flat out every time I see him. I'm like, what about Trump? You know, what do you think? What do you think? And this is a dude that has educated as a lawyer, okay? And he said that he doesn't think much is going to happen to Trump. And I understand why he's saying that is because Trump doesn't do emails, okay? So there might not be a trail. But he's like, instantly it goes right away. But Don Jr., that's a different story. And that's the truth. And I could see Don Jr., like the dude, the guy from New York State that's, you know, the SEC is, you know, going after him for insider trading. I could see his kid flipping on his dad. You know, like, Dad, why'd you get me into this mess? Why am I going to take the fall? I got my whole life ahead of me, and it was your idea. That's what I think something like that's going to happen. I'm sorry, Trump supporters. I'm a Republican, man. I just don't see that anything that's going down, you know, is... That's bullshit. That's bullshit. He's not a fiscal conservative. He's not a conservative at all. He's real extreme. And the other thing that I said to my friend, I was like, you know, if it looks like to me, and I had to be careful when I'm saying this because I'll look like the total extreme libtard, but I said it looks to me that if he could get away, he's like Hitler, and if he could get away with being a dictator, he would. And my friend, he said absolutely. So he agrees on that, but he doesn't think that there's going to be a direct trail of breadcrumbs to Trump. It's going to stop someplace. What if a bunch of people like come out like his son, Hope Hicks, and they're like, we're not going to jail for you. And they're all saying, yeah, he did say this and he did know. Come on. So anyway, another thing that I asked this dude was about the aliens in the desert, and he would know, okay? This is true. I asked him this shit, and he's like, no. I don't think there's anything like that. And then I brought up, who was it, the Canadian Secretary of Defense, or say he came out and says that, you know, aliens are coming to this planet. I'll have to check on who that was, but it was a Canadian dude, real high up. And he said, yeah, I know about that, but I'm sorry, you lose me when I hear alien or UFO. I told him about seeing the UFO, like back here. It was fucking the craziest shit I've ever seen. It was bizarre. It was like behind my barn. I saw it coming from that direction. This is true. My neighbor Joe saw it too. And I saw it coming from that direction. And it was like this red, real bright light coming towards me. It reminded me of like a stoplight, sort of, like it was real. It was very red. And so it's coming towards me going 10 miles an hour. And as I'm watching it, I'm like, what the fuck is this? And then it gets about to my barn. And I'm like, what? Am I seeing something from another world? That's what I said. I said, am I seeing that? I'm like, Joe, do you see it? You know? Yo, the red thing? It's fucking weird. So it was about the size and volume as like a car, but it was spherical. But that would have been the volume of it. Like it was, you know, maybe a 8-foot sphere or something, maybe something like that, maybe a little bit bigger, and then it's about 500 feet away, and then I'm saying it flew. It was more like floating at a steady pace. And the other thing about that night, it was real weird because it was like 25 mile an hour winds. Not one sound. I heard nothing, no prop wash, nothing like that. And it was unaffected. Its speed, it continued flying or floating, whatever it's doing. went behind that tree over there, and then I ran out in the, in the road and watched it head towards Watkins Glen. If I would have been in my right, it was fucking shocking. I would have grabbed my phone, got in the car, and chased it. It's like, what am I seeing? Like, what did I just see? You know, it was really fucking weird. I don't know what it was. I'm telling you, I don't know what it was. But I can tell you one thing. It didn't look like anything the military would have. It was fucking a round sphere. It looked electrical in nature. And it had these lights that, like, pulsated up and down it real quick through the whole thing. And it did have some white lights, but the whole thing, like, in general, came off as just red. And it would, just, like, pulsate like this. And it was like 25-mile-an-hour winds. You know, it was like, what the fuck is that? Trump must know about this shit because he wants to start this space force. You know? He would know. I'm telling you, it was not... How many people have seen this shit? They call it an orb. I'm telling you, I saw this. It wasn't... I'm not making shit up. This is not a bullshit story. But do you think that Trump's freaked out? That he knows that a lot of people have seen these things? Or maybe he's seen something like that himself, and he's like, oh, we got to spend money on the Space Force. Well, the fact of the matter is, when I saw this thing, and then, ever since, I'm like, if that's somebody coming here, it'd be like the equivalent of, Columbus, running into the natives. He was so much more advanced, and that's the same thing. Having the Space Force is like, it sounds ridiculous, Trump, Space Force. It's absurd. But, like, what is it, Space Force 5000 or something, We could not protect ourselves from this shit, I'm telling you. That was a technology, didn't make any sense. It didn't. I don't know what the fuck that was. Do you know what it really reminded me of? This is the truth. And I've wondered this, like, was it an animal? I don't know. I know. It reminded me of the way that it was like pulsating and electrical in nature. It reminded me of like one of those bioluminescent animals at the bottom of the ocean. Something like that. I don't know. I mean, it was solid though. It was solid though. It was. I don't know. I really don't know. Maybe Trump knows. Maybe Trump will tell us as soon as like he's in deep enough shit. Okay. Here's the shiny object, and the shiny object this time is that we got aliens in a locker in the desert, okay? And they've been coming here forever how long, and, we're at their mercy. Or maybe, Elon's right, and maybe this is just some kind of elaborate program, computer program that we're experiencing, and we're not really even here. I don't know. It's a possibility. I mean, it seems real, but what's real? I mean, we're here and then we're gone. I don't know. One thing's for sure is that the distances are so great, the possibilities are mind-boggling. Like anything seems possible when you think about the distance, even just between, us and Mars. But if you think about the distance between, like other galaxies, it's absurd. It starts getting absurd. And then when you think about the universe, as a whole, it's crazy. And to think that there might be multiple, it's not a universe, it's a multiverse. The distances are nuts. The possibilities of anything, like Trump being president, are possible. It's crazy. I'm telling you what I saw, though. It wasn't from this planet. It was not. There's no way. We don't have anything like that. I'm telling you, it was no prop wash, no sound. There's no sound. Just steady 15 miles an hour, 10, 15 miles an hour, and a 25 mile an hour wind. It was not affected. Not. I see this shit on the internet all the time where people are feeding dogs beef without calcium. You can't do that. Luna, kennel. Sit. Bone is part of the dog's diet, okay? So yesterday I'm seeing this person, I think that they're in animal rescue or something. Luna, kennel. Sit. And what she's doing is she's giving hamburger to a puppy. What the fuck are you doing? I think the puppy was like 5 weeks old anyway. So the puppy's growing, so they need more calcium than like an adult dog. She's giving it hamburger. That screws up the dog's calcium phosphorus level. If they're not getting enough calcium, this is the truth, they'll leach it from their own bones. How stupid. I saw this person, I'm like, I don't even want to be friends with you. I wrote a thing about it, and I'm like, and I don't want to be friends. I can't stand it. I have all these people on my Facebook page that are like dog people or something. I don't know what they are. They're like, let me say this. People that are involved in animal rescue are sort of extreme. So there's a lot of extreme people, but they're sort of, they don't really know what they're doing. Like it's not enough to love a dog, okay? You have to understand diet, and most people don't. And you also have to understand that the dogs need training or they stay in the system. So what's the sense? You're saving the fur baby, whatever, but it just goes to another home and has issues. Look at Pharaoh. If it wasn't for him getting to his owner that he has now, that separation anxiety would have never been taken care of. So I see this stuff where these people are just giving meat and no calcium. Bone is part of the dog's diet. If you're not going to add calcium and you're just going to give raw meat, you're screwing the dog up. And if you're doing that to a puppy, you are an idiot. I couldn't stand it. I'm like, I'm unfriending her. As a matter of fact, I'm finding excuses to unfriend people on Facebook. If it's somebody that I know who they are, that's different. But if I don't know them and they just friended me after Tasho and I accepted the friend thing, I'm getting rid of, I don't know who these people are. I'd like to have about 100, 150, maybe 200. My life is public. This is public. My Facebook page doesn't have to be. You see what I'm saying? So I see all this shit on there from people that like, oh yeah, they're dog lovers, but they don't really know anything about dogs. It's infuriating. You should understand that the dog needs a certain amount of things to not just survive, but to thrive. And one of the things that they need is calcium, more than a human. It's a fact. It's a fact. Luna, kennel? No, Luna, kennel. Kennel. No, spin around, sit, heel. Kennel. 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 Sit. No, spin around, sit. Spin around, dude. No, sit. There you go, good girl. Heel. Kennel. Sit. Kennel. No. She's watching these bees. Kennel. Sit. And she's not supposed to be watching the bumblebee. She's supposed to be watching me. If it was a hummingbird, it'd be a different story. Luna, kennel. Heel. Kennel. Kennel. Sit. Kennel. Heel. Good girl. Sit. Heel. No, heel. Sit. Kennel. Get a heel. No, heel. No. Kennel. Sit. I hope that makes sense. You can't just give a dog meat. Anytime I see somebody writing something like, oh, I give my dog the raw meat diet, you're an idiot, okay? Or so many times I see somebody giving raw diet, but then they give a bunch of like carbs along with it. That defeats the purpose. Your dog needs 0 carbs, and carbs will screw up a lot of dogs. The thing of it is that you could get away with giving a dog food that isn't necessarily good for them. That's what pet food's about. Like you could give them that and they don't die instantly. It doesn't mean that they're necessarily that healthy. If it's totally unnatural, don't give it to your dog. In other words, kibble, dog food, canned dog food, totally unnatural. It is. It's horrible for your dog. But you don't just give the dog meat. If you're not giving calcium, okay, you're going to screw that dog up. And a puppy needs a lot of calcium. And nobody should have a dog that is 4 weeks old, okay? If you run across somebody that wants to give you a dog that young, that dog should be with its litter. And if you want to bottle feed like a singlet or something, plan on keeping it and plan on having trouble with that dog for the rest of its life. There's critical periods in the dog's development that are invaluable. All the social skills it learns with its litter, okay? So you can't do that yourself. You're not going to make the dog have better social skills. And don't take the dog to the dog run, a dog park. That's going to train the dog to fight. So all their social skills that they get with the litter when they're very young. After that point, it becomes something different. It becomes about obedience and learning to be obedient in a human world, like Luna. This Luna's freaking awesome. This dog is awesome. This dog is fun. This is a sporty little dog. Luna, kennel? No. Luna, kennel? Good. Sit. Kennel? No. Sit. Kennel? No. Sit. Kennel. Sit. Kennel. Sit. Kennel. That's good. Kennel. Sit. Kennel. Sit. Kennel. Sit. Sit. Kennel. 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 Very nice.